So I get asked quite a bit of how do you, what are some of the best things that people did for you through the grief? Because to be honest, when when somebody passes away or something like infertility, people just don't know what to do. They just don't. They have the best of intentions, even within the church. They have the best of intentions, and they can love you dearly, and they can say the dumbest, most hurtful things. So know that it's not intentional. They really do love you. Like, in a nutshell, if you want like one thing overall, keep showing up. Like, just keep showing up. And telling them, some of the most meaningful, I had friends that would come to me and say, I don't know what to do. I can't begin to understand what you're going through. I don't understand what's going on with your kids. I want to be a friend. Like, I would just bawl. that meant more than anything, that even if it was going to be sticky, and even if they might hurt my feelings or say something that they didn't, that they were going to keep showing up. When our oldest daughter was in residential, my stepsister and my niece, they came every single Wednesday night for 3.5 years. They came and took care of my two babies, so that my husband and I could go and visit our oldest daughter. She was 45 minutes away in a residential. We would have family counseling with her on Wednesday nights. And then afterwards, he and I would go to dinner, and we would sit and we would process through that counseling and just be able to look each other, across the table. And I would come home, babies they'd had baths, they were in bed, they had been fed, and, she would even, they would pick up the house, they would clean sometimes, they would do laundry. Not even asked. Like, that was huge. When my husband passed away, I didn't have a choice. I had to go through our house and sell. That whole thing of like, don't make any decisions for at least a year. Like, that wasn't an option for us. And just the way that things were. And I had a friend that came 5 Saturdays in a row. And I'll tell you, every 5 Saturdays that she showed up, I was standing in the basement and literally just turning in circles and crying because I didn't know where to start. I was so overwhelmed. And so she would just pick something up and she would go, is this a keep? Is this a giveaway? Is this a sale? And it would at least like get me moving. And she brought me a Dr. Pepper when she came. It's the little things. For a full year, a team of guys from our church came out, and we had a full acre of property. We had goats, we had animals. They came out, they mowed, they took care of things. I remember coming home on one Wednesday night from church, and a couple of guys it was Christmas, and that first Christmas is a doozy. And they had just bought a couple of strings of lights, and they put up Christmas lights on the front of my house. Like, and again, a very simple thing. I never would have thought of it. We were a hard family to fix food for. I had kids with major food allergies and a mom also that couldn't eat certain things. And I actually met one of my best friends today. She had just started coming to the church, heard about this family that needed food, and nobody could fix us meals because of how specialized food that we needed. And she showed up, and she had actually found out our allergies and cooked us a meal that we could physically eat. It was huge. I was thrilled. It was like the first cooked meal we had in months. Somebody, they would see a devotion book and they would just say, I thought of you when I saw this. I had friends that live far away. Every single one of them made it a point to come out and spend a weekend with me. Like, they made the time when they came. But it meant so much to me. Like, it never I was struggling all the time. So you could have texted me 24 hours a day and it would have been just the right time. But just the fact that people thought of me. And the big thing, especially being a young widow, I was 43 when he passed away, and my girls were 9. Like, well, he's been gone for 4 years, yes. And I still don't have somebody that can help me move furniture or clean out gutters, or even just this week, a guy at the church that's a deacon, and he just said, he reached out and he was like, hey, do you have things that we could help with? We're going to, we have this Saturday coming up in February. Can we come and help you? And So if you are part of a church body, even if you're part of a work organization, a bigger company, everybody kind of falls off the planet about the 6 to 8 month mark after someone passes away. And the grief and the difficulties and the finding out what you really need for the family, for the person that's experiencing the loss, is just really hitting about that time. And saying things to people like, well, just let me know what you need, or just reach out if you need something. Not going to happen. Like, I'm pretty, I'm not bashful, as you can probably tell, but a lot of times I didn't know what I need. I just didn't know. But if they called and said, what night this week can I bring you pizza? I could tell them that. I'm going to go pick up groceries for your family. I know you have special food needs. Send me a list of 20 things that you could use. Send it to me by Friday. I can do that. One of the biggest things, anytime that there's a camp or something for the youth, the kids to participate in, somebody pops up and comes to me and says, can I pay for your kids to go? If they're selling t-shirts for the youth or whatever, a family will come in and say, can we get your kiddos, sweatshirts when we get our kids? And making sure that they got to do that. So we buried my husband and my daughter out in the ocean. And it was about 6 or 7 hours away from our home. The 2 kids' pastors, they drove the 7 hours, went on the boat to hold my kids and to be with my kids, even out there when we buried their dad and their sister, so that I could also grieve. Who does that? Who does that? And knowing that when they, when we lose a spouse, especially if you don't remarry, it's a long-term thing. Just keep showing up. Another big thing that I didn't realize right away was physical contact, just physical touch, period. How much I missed. I remember so again, I'm part of a Sunday school class, and it's mixed. There's single people, there's married people, and it's, probably 40s all the way through your 70s. And so, we're they're in front of their wives. It's totally appropriate. But especially some of the older guys would just come and just hug me, and I can't tell you what that means, still means to me, because I don't get that anymore. I don't have anybody's hand to hold. I don't have anybody to lay with at night. And I certainly don't get, hugged. But even more than that, it's still been 4.5 years, and there are still, family friends and also, friends from our church, and they seek out and put their arm around and check in with my kids every single Sunday. That's huge. Just randomly, people would send my kids gifts in the mail. They just knew what they liked, or they would shoot me a text and said, hey, I want to shoot your kids something this week. What's something that they would like? And they would order it on Amazon, and it would just show up in the mail. And just little distractions, little rays of sunshine, bringing me plants. Or I had a friend that came up and planted a rose bush, in my yard. And something I've done for, I have a friend that's a widow, and she's a super introvert, and she doesn't like to just sit and talk and, that kind of thing. But I knew it would make her laugh. I took a pizza over and a soda one night, and she has an indoor dog. But I put it on her porch, and I just shot her a message and said, if you can get to the pizza on the porch before your dog, supper's there. Which she did. She got a huge kick out of it. So those are just some of the ideas, and just keep showing up.